I want to talk a little bit about other things which happened in the Premier League today and in other competitions. Let's start with Manchester City, your former side. The winning machine continues. Spot in the semi-finals, seeing off Newcastle, scoring early on in the first half, a double. Probably, we haven't watched the game, I should add, because it kicked off the same time as here, so I'm just presuming now that is probably what they wanted.
Bernardo Silva, you know, for me, it was a dangerous game for Man City because they wanted to make a couple of changes, and when you look at the side, you didn't do too many. It was still a very, very strong one, and Newcastle had to go out with everything because that's the last thing they've got, and Newcastle have got some dangerous results over the last 18 months with this Eddie Howe, with a little taste of the Champions League. So I thought it was a dangerous game, and I thought obviously to come away with another win, all the players go and get that international break. It was a real positive outcome, and City just continue to grind towards this Wembley that I was talking about. Wow. Semi-finals. There's another final in the Champions League. There's an FA Cup final. Long way to go. But we've got a real exciting draw as well in the FA Cup. We've got Coventry with a wonderful performance. So there could be a slightly easier game.
I mean, when you're in all these competitions, multiple fronts, they're treble winners. They were last year, and to possibly do it again would be an absolutely remarkable achievement.
Yeah, sure. They're a great side, so consistent, and they're in a great position again on all fronts. The league, you know, that's going to go right to the wire. It looks like, and for me, they'll just pip it. Obviously, I don't know for sure, but that would be who my favourite is.
Tight, isn't it?
But it's very tight. Fantastic position now in the FA Cup, and also big tie coming up against Real Madrid in the Champions League.
I'll tell you what it is as well with having that the semi-final now sliced in is the fact that there's not really many midweeks that they can slide a fixture in. They've got to put Brighton away in, which is a dangerous place, and now obviously the game that's going to be changed, it could be so key, is Tottenham Hotspur. So where do you put that in? And that's away. Now that'll be changed because of the FA Cup semi-final weekend. So, I mean, that as well, for all the positives, it's fantastic to keep winning. Then you're going to have to go literally Saturday, Wednesday or Sunday, like two, 3 games a week, right till the end of the season now.
How delicate do you have to balance a squad, the fitness of all the players, so burnout doesn't happen? You've been in this position. You were there, La Decima. I was in the stadium. I was present. I watched your side, Real, beating Atletico. I'm just thinking, wow, to be able to go from August or July when your pre-season starts right up to that point in time must be exhausting, and here City competing in everything. Yeah,
sure. I mean, I have to say, out of those top 3, my opinion would be Man City have the strongest squad, and when they have had difficulties with injuries, I mean, they played many games, haven't they, without Haaland and De Bruyne, and they still managed to churn out great performances because they've got a brilliant squad of players, and they have to use that to their strength right to the death, to use them, all the quality players that they have across all the 3 competitions.
Joe, I wanted to ask you, do you know when you're at that stage of these 2-legged games, obviously the second leg, how important is that to be at home? And the other thing is, why is it so hard to win? What is it that's the difference in the semi-finals, etc., of later stages in Champions League games? What is it? Real Madrid are the best at it. What is that difference? What do you need?
My experience of being at Real Madrid is it's such a special club with great tradition and great belief, in particular in that competition. Just the history of it, when you go in there, it's like the European Cup is absolutely everything. And the stadium is I think a little bit like Anfield has produced over the years. That stadium has produced magical moments. And you know, you just look at Real Madrid a couple of years ago when they beat Chelsea, PSG and Man City on the way to the final. I mean, they're dead and buried in nearly all of those games.
They beat City right at the end in added time.
Yeah, but
2 goals.
It comes from the tradition, it comes from the belief, it comes from the managers, it comes from the confidence of the players. But you have to say that, you know, the margins are still very, very tight at that level. So all you can do is plan and prepare and do the best you can.
I do feel City are more relaxed now. Do you know,
where
you've got a Real Madrid. Once they've done it last season, I knew they thought it was tense. When the draw came out and it was Bayern followed by Real Madrid, it was the hardest and the toughest route, and they just thought we can do it. We're up for this challenge, and we believe we can do it. I think this year they believe, well, this is more of we've got every chance. Do you know? And it's not overconfidence because Pep doesn't allow it. The players don't. They keep driving themselves for better results. But I feel like they are on that stage now. If that sort of they are there it's them to be knocked off almost.
Yeah. What about the fact that you mentioned City have the strongest squad, however Arsenal have the fewest games to compete in because they're not in Europe. Well, they are in Europe, sorry, they're not in the FA Cup, whereas Liverpool are, they're playing tomorrow. Arsenal will have just a Champions League to worry about and Premier League. Does that make a difference in any way?
Well, as a coach, you obviously get more time to recover the players and prepare the players because you can have a free week leading into the next game. So that certainly is an advantage. But also, momentum could be good. Can be good. You know, when you're playing regularly, you play and you perform, confidence is high, and then you go again and you repeat. So I think there are some pros and cons to both. Which would I prefer as a coach? I would prefer time in order to be able to train and prepare, because the other issue is travel. When you travel midweek and then you've got to play again and maybe travel again, that can be quite draining. So the managers at that level have real experience about getting the intensity right of training, who needs to recover, who needs maybe an extra rest.
Will Arsenal and Mikel Arteta have that yet? Do you know, with that squad to be able to do it, to go and play, you know, bye and then a Premier League game and then the second leg's away, and then it's either going to be a City, Real Madrid. Have they got that resource to go in? Do you think they can go and get through both of those ties?
I'm not so sure.
Keep
That
running.
might be the thing that.
I was going to be brave. I was
them
trying
back.
to hold off.
It's okay.
This is London. It's only a tiny drizzle.
We take care of our
okay,
guests.
honestly.
We take care of our guests.
Come on, I'll
Anyway,
put you under, come on.
sorry, go on. You were saying?
No, you know, that might be the thing that falters them in the end, is that, you know, depth of squad and not being so used to the big game and then the big game again. But we'll have to see. You know, Man City have got a little bit more experience of it.